my promise was say update BSC me de bebre mo na we dey free impenifo mo man mu ekukudamfo omo adwen ne chese adwen ne kasa ai impenifo yese panyin ni hwe ne kro wa abachere enya abachere last week me kire watch your madrin about this whole SMLD President John Dramani Mahama actual letter being signed by his secretary Callistus Mahama being addressed to the finance minister Dr. K.C. Alatoforsen said mon cancel deal Ghana yaboka o me diskani bia eye na mpenifo be bia kire o madrin evidence day memo videos ama mahwe. This is FMS Strength and here we give you the latest updates. Updates in and the latest updates via bar near the Abremo. My name is Maureen Marshall and you can call me the information minister. I'm here to give you all the updates that you need. Now Tuaso. According to Suleiman Abrahima, who is the executive director of Media Foundation for West Africa, or say SMLD unankasa ehunya. It was a very useless deal and agencies in Ghana were already providing those services into no so I don't know if him fan e buy say oh SME or no e was see a sign on baby bia magana adia obi yedada Sulemana wakasa o. Let's watch the video.
The time the incorporation was done. Another example is the MD of SML as of 2019 was the technical advisor to the GRA commissioner. Then GRA gives a contract to SML in 2020. And then the technical advisor moves to become the MD of this company that has now gotten a contract without PP approval and all of those things.
So Christian Tetesoti is in GRA?
Yes.
And then
as a technical advisor.
And then the company gets a contract.
Yes.
Then he becomes the manager of the company.
He becomes the MD of the company.
And it's possible we want somebody from GRA.
Yeah, he had gone on retirement as controller and accountants general, comes to become the technical advisor to
this cannot be mere coincidence.
No, well, I'm saying that's why I use the word curious instances of coincidence. Multiple instances of coincidence that are quite curious. The incorporation, the time that the contract is awarded, who moves from the GRE as a technical advisor to now become the company that has now gotten the contract. The company has no experience. As at the time the story was being done, GRA was the only client to this company. So and obviously when we did the interviews, my colleagues did the interviews. Asked the man about the kinds of things that they claim they were doing on their own website.
Yeah.
The MD says, I don't know anything about that. No, we don't do those things. Then he's told, but those things are on your website. He says, well, I don't do anything on website. Curiously, the next day or after, the website is wiped with that from that information.
Or the afternoon after the
yes, that information is then taken out.
That wasn't
we are told that this is a company that is saving the country 3 billion, cedis as a result of the interventions. The MD is asked.
Front page.
Yes, front page, Daily Graphic. The MD is asked about this 3 billion because the data available didn't point to any 3 billion. Then he says, oh, what I know is 1 billion. I don't know about any 3 billion. So quite clearly.
People could misspeak.
Well, but in fact, the IT officer who said he did the presentation, then whispered to Christian Tetesoti to say that, oh, well, if the media reported 3 billion, it must have been a mistake. Then they are told, but if the media got it wrong, the 3 billion is on your website. The media couldn't have come to put the 3 billion on your website. Then Tetesoti says, oh, I don't know anything about 3 billion. So quite clearly, this was a deal that was made. And I would agree with the OSP in saying that this couldn't have been just a normal procured contract. And if you look at the amount of money involved, and then in the investigations, it was clear that whatever SML said they were doing, the state agencies were doing it. So even GRA officials were surprised. So during the interview, a GRA officer says, I would want you to get the SML officer to clarify whether indeed they are involved in issues of diversion of fuel, dilution of fuel, and all of that, as they claim they do. And so that was the first question put to the MD. Then the MD says, no, we don't do that. You know? So GRA was doing some of the things that they had claimed they were doing. MPA, we interviewed Mustafa Hamid. Mustafa says, I'm shocked that another entity will say they are doing this because these are things that the MPA is doing. And for example, in terms of revenue assurance, we have systems in place that if you are an OMC who owes, you can't even lift. You know, beyond that, every increment is then attributed to SML. That, oh, it's because of SML that we have had an increment, you know, in the oil liftings, which is not true. Because if you look at the MPA data year on year, there is an increment. In fact, there is a story that we are looking into. If you look at the 2024 volumes, it's almost like quadruple, you know, or triple the number the previous year. And we are saying, what happened? What could have caused this major jump between 2023 and 2024? And in fact, this new regime came in, and they are, you know, if you look at the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter volumes, it's almost a build-up on the 2024 volumes. And we are saying this is not normal. So these are things that we are looking into. So I perfectly agree with the OSP, and I commend them for the comprehensive work that has been done that basically affirms all that we had discovered. And of course, you know, colleagues Manasseh, Evans, and Ajua, you know, did a diligent job, and subsequently the petition filed to them. And
they also have guys at the Africa Energy Policy.
You mean ASEP?
Yes, ASEP.
Africa Center for Energy Policy.
Yes.
Yes.
What's his name?
Bemboache and co.
Yeah, because I remember the documentary.
Yes.
These are the guys who were speaking.
Yes.
I remember the foremost tax experts, I said tax, procurement experts.
Yes.
Kwesi Bedu, yeah. Yes. They all spoke.
Yes.
Atta Bedu.
And right. All of them say...
But you see, the claims that you made, which the OSP does even a deeper research into, investigations into, the SML is disputing some of them. For example, when you say, because at the initial stages, they took they were submitted for sole sourcing 3 times to PPA and they were rejected. That's why they changed their name from SMEL to SML as a way of confusing the system and to get the contract. They said that's not what they did. All they were doing was just brand sort of enhancement. So they didn't do it to trick anybody.
Well, I think the OSP makes that point. But in the story that was done by the Fourth Estate, that point is never made, that they had to rebrand in order to qualify for the PPA approval. In any case, I don't think that the approval processes is about name. It's really about capacity, experience, and all of that. And of course, at that time, PPA would have been questioning, what is the experience of this company to be sole source for this kind of job? And that is why consistently they were disapproved. And then, of course, the powers that be allowed such a contract to be signed. And I was quite surprised that even on the basis of the KPMG audit, I think that the president ought to have, basically authorized for a termination of the entire contract.
You mean
President Akufo-Addo? Yes. Because the infractions
he terminated about 2 of them.
No, those
that have not yet started.
Yes, they hadn't started. So what was the point?
Because you, in the documentary, made the point that in that regard, they are also going to earn money, get money for no work done.
Yes.
In our minerals, sector, gold and other mineral sector. And then he stopped it. So that was good. So
the point was that based on the downstream petroleum sector work that is being done and the amounts of money that being paid, over 24 million, every month, and all of that. We thought, look, if this was a scheme that is not delivering any value for money, why should we now add on upstream petroleum and the mineral royalties, revenue assurance to the same entity? Essentially, the same thing happening downstream is going to happen upstream and in the mineral sector. And of course, it hadn't started, so the president terminated.
Okay.
There is even an argument about whether this required parliamentary approval because it was a multi-year contract.
KPMG had recommended that.
Now, watch a video, no? ma wo se de sitie na baby a me ko no me tie si eye party a omko opposition a omani abre omho a cheso omhu di omo ye omho make a new patriotic party NPP. Now, according to NPP communications director Richard Ahiagba, I just hope I've got the name correct, the pronunciation, or say government need your promise the government didn't promise optics. Ye per substance we want a just say so working my own say juman moye moka asem obechi we amoche moka asem we amoye. You didn't promise us optics yempesa. Show evidence, give us substance. Just say my own show substance my own one na moye no because they say they moye na say ni na cho kasa ni too much kasa ni more into say government and yes I promise here show substance and show working and only we want to see the substance and only see you have video
something I struggle. Then there was the Attorney General press conferences indicting people, calling people names, almost supposing they have committed a crime. The special prosecutor on the same run. I worry something. The due process is not a loophole for the corrupt or the lawbreaker. It's not. It's the foundation of justice. So when we go out there and we aim at due process in the manner that we are, just simply because we want to fight corruption, which we all support, and so on the altar of that, we sacrifice all processes that must be accorded to the individual. Our Constitution provides for it. Article 19 says that you presume anybody innocent until proven guilty. But today, the due process is seen as a loophole. So we must abridge it, we must set it aside, and then go for, media trials. That's what we're seeing. But I believe it's not a loophole. It is the basis of our justice system. So we should grant it. Yes, you have a case. You have evidence and whatnot. Bring them, go to court. Why do we need to sit in a press conference for an hour and so many to listen to evidence that must be tested in court? The special prosecutor, we have seen him in many instances where he has yelled from the rooftops about people. They have done this, they have done. Is this still not the legal system that we have? Why hasn't he convicted anybody? We haven't seen that. But meanwhile, people's characters have been assassinated. Madam Cecilia Dapa lost her job because of that. He's going up and down because somebody's money here, money there. In the end, what happened? I want corruption to be fought, but let's do it according to the law. SML, like you said rightly, they have come back to say that all the things he said, they don't understand where it's coming from. They disagree. But he has convicted them. Okay, we are here supposing that they are corrupt people. Okay, I think that we should hasten slowly. Fourth Estate, I commend you, fantastic. What you're doing is a good investment, a good input. We should encourage more of that. This government, we have seen signs up and down. Please engage there. Let's point where there are corruption. Let's do it. It's a good job you're doing. I'm not any day.
So you can trust me on that.
No. I am not any day going to undermine what they are doing.
No.
But I'm just saying that we should allow the laws to work. The processes, in fact, I remember President Akufo-Addo, I think is that the first or second press encounter he had, where a question about prosecuting people from the previous administration, pressure here and there, why are we not seeing prosecution and all that? And he talked about due process being such an interesting thing that when you are at the receiving end, okay, you find it a comfort that it must be extended to you. So it's an essential component of our justice system. We must accord it to everyone and ensure that at the end of the day, everybody.
One of the accusations is actually that the special prosecutor has taken too long. They have delayed this, and they sat there and watched for Ken Ofori Atta to even leave the country and start now running after him for extradition, all of that.
Yeah, but I'm sure you are not the one saying that. Those who are saying that are the hawks on the fringes, okay, from the NDC who are yelling up and down. I just told you about President Akufo-Addo's case, where people in our party were saying that let's see the people prosecuted. But then Akufo-Addo was minded to say that, look, we must do it according to law. I expect President Mahama to do the same. And I don't have any evidence to suggest that the president is interested in abridging people's rights. But the entities, their overzealousness and their desire to be seen on big screen, to be seen to be doing some work, is leading them
so what
to
you are saying now,
people's rights.
And what you have said all along is circumspection in the press conferences that they hold.
Yes.
Before they charge.
Absolutely. The process, even that, you don't need that press conference. Go to court. The essence of their work is to recover, if any, of these assets and monies that they are mentioning. The essence is to bring those resources back to the state. We don't want to hear it. You hear about this oral thing where Domelevo, the former Auditor General, is saying that they receive a lot of garbage in the process. Okay? We are not interested in the garbage. We are interested in the substance. After the people have been convicted, then we know that we are getting this money back or the people are punished to serve as a deterrent for other people not to go in the same direction. So everything they are doing is formatting, is optics. We are not interested in the optics. You didn't promise us optics. You promised us a certain deliverable. We are not seeing
what are
that.
the optics?
We are engaging in press conferences.
Let me take a minute's comment from Dr.
This man, I really like him. Professor Daniel Domelevo. Anna also Chena John Chena Konk Yempayin for baby. So Professor Daniel Domelevo, who was the former Auditor General of Ghana, Kase, me ya papa say, nipa 6 pe, ena OSP, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, about be pointy fingers, nipa 6 wena, SMLD, no moody, Canadian, den. Or say, yase nipa 6, ebe swasa aso training na, enka, OSP no, just on training net ni. He should widen his net na, obechi nipa bebre. Say by now, obi scare buttons, den. Say mami dimpim. According to Professor Daniel Domelevo, or say, me ya nipa 6 pe. Masa, trenet ni mo OSP, trenet ni nechi more people no. Men nipa 6 number swa nkofo bebrebe no ebone omunye Yesu Kristo.
Is that the special prosecutor is going to hold about only 6 people accountable. I thought there should be a lot more people complicit in this. Well, I must first disclose that the list he has brought up even already disturbs me a bit, because the 2 people, what do you call it? Damwa was my classmate. Krenzel was also my classmate. So 2 people there are my classmates.
I see.
And Christian Soti was my boss when he was the accountant general. I was a director in accountant general. But I think that we should open the net a bit wider. I don't think it is only these 6 people who are culpable. Definitely there are chief tax inspectors or directors, etc., who would have also approved or looked aside for all these things to happen. When we don't do that, they always run away with it, and at the end of the day, we don't get our money back. But I cannot agree more with Martin Kwebu that the speed with which we are attacking this is as if we like it. If such an infraction has happened and government thought it was not good, because first and foremost, what is the job of GRA? You mean they don't have revenue assurance unit? If they cannot assure revenue, then why are they there? If it is a matter of lack of capacity, it's just a matter of training. Do we have to outsource it to an organization with 0 experience? This is mind-boggling. We don't run any organization like that. It's because Daniel doesn't know how to drive. So you want to engage somebody who doesn't also know how to drive to take over the vehicles. Is that what we do? Don't you teach Daniel how to drive? So I think the speed and the way we are handling these corruption issues leaves a lot to be desired. And if the special prosecutor is going to court, he should go to court. But if he has left out some other people, he should bring them on board, so that we uproot it fully, not just a few people as scapegoats.
My video na baby I surgery the same Professor Daniel Yao Domelovo aka asembi osi so far dear President John Dramani Mahama ye nanije ho President Mahama ya is commendable. Now we've got to a point as a country we have to make corruption unattractive. So say obia dwene politics ho and yet say Abia, I'm coming to serve the country. I'm coming to serve my constituency members. And yes, me baby be papa bi am my no. Adwini ni na ye sika or be cheze or be swagger na sika na kogu ni bottom. Yepe money. It's true. Ye ni na ye piska. We all want money. But according to Professor Yao Domolevo, or say it's high time we make corruption very unattractive. We you know what them oyeni etwa wo sa twatwene oyeni aha nipa ne yene ma anya ne hwea ne obiasa na se me so me kran me be ya me fa me ho adi nti ono so say chale mama ni mbre na chese ye ma na nye unattractive because
Yeah, I cannot agree more with that position. I think there is not sufficient deterrence to stop or prevent people from abusing public funds. One of your panelists actually made a passionate appeal or position on people stealing goat, which is about 1,000 Ghana cedis or maybe maximum 1,005 Ghana cedis. They are expeditiously tried and jailed. In fact, if we gather the statistics of people who steal goat in a year and compare to those who steal public funds in the millions, I think the public funds will be more. But we are not angry towards them enough. And I have said time and again that because there is not sufficient deterrence or consequences for wrongdoing, people keep doing. So let me say that the action being taken by the president is very commendable. It's good that we have dedicated or specialized courts that will handle these infractions that the Auditor General brings out each year or from time to time.
And Ghana Ports Authority, NA, Papa Idie, Eba, Eye Gitagens, and someone nano papa, nano de air Professor Jampo. So Professor Ransford Jampo is saying that he agrees 100% with President John Dramani Mahama. Decision now I take is a SML deal na Ken Ofori Atamosin signing last year, NA, just a previous year's 2017 just a year bi almost signing deal with SML. In the name of Ghana sika akokem. We didn't even get value for whatever we paid for no. Or say only President John Dramani Mahama. Adwe pe. Adia president ne kwan so anu. Just only 1% crime film. Only adwe 100%.
So OSP is saying that the work itself that SML is said to have done shouldn't have been done or never happened. And then it's also having serious issues with the processes or the investigative work of KPMG. We thought KPMG over the years had gained some credibility and reputation for the work that it does. But OSP is questioning even the way a manner they did the work. Now, this has culminated in the President of the Republic directing the termination of the whole SML deal. Now, I fully align myself with the directive of the President of the Republic, not because I'm his appointee, not just because I'm his appointee, but also because of my belief that if it is wrong, it is wrong. If it is right, it is right. If it is wrong, it is wrong. If it is right, it is right. And so if after the work of the OSP, that now question not only SML, but even the investigative audit of the KPMG. If in the reason of president, the thing is a no-no and it's wrong, then we all must support the president.
So according to Professor Ransford Jampo, Osaka Bibi, or say Adentina, Office of the Special Prosecutor, they are trying to recover just 125 million Ghana cedis. from the SML deal. Meanwhile, sika ko mu ne ka Ghana abono. It's more than the 125 million Ghana cedis. Intino, masa OSP sika na wojini swa. Sika Ghana herno. It's more than that. Ghana has lost more money. I just say 125 million Ghana cedis no. It is sika na wojin iswa. Asmo ka che OSP no. Say sika na wo pese o moji free SML deal no iswa intino. Charlie, Emma OSP ni nyesa no. Sika ni so ento moji bin count because Ghana lost more money. But
I have a question. See, in our quest to fight corruption and to tackle some of these things, we must go all out. I read and listened to the OSP saying that about 1.4 billion cedis have been paid the SML. 1.4 billion paid SML. But the OSP is saying it is going for a refund of 125 million. And it baffles my mind. If the work wasn't done, if the contract shouldn't have been entered into, then you, the lawyers, Martin Pebu, you are there. The contract itself is void. If it is void and we paid 1.4 billion, then why are you going to collect 125 million?
Okay.
Do the math. Subtract 125 million from 1.4 billion. Who benefits from the void contract of SML? And so I think this is something that you may want the OSP people to speak to, because I don't understand. Okay. If we pay them 1.4 billion and contract itself is void.
This is FMS Strengths, and I hope you enjoyed this update. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the link to your friends and family so that they also join the conversation here on YouTube. Don't, I just say, like you, share. Be a baby abeshe. Whenever we post any new updates, come and watch it. All the videos that we played, we don't own rights to them. No copyright infringement intended. Thank you.